everyone. Welcome to the Leasing Highway, a podcast focused on the heartbeat of the apartment industry. And it is presented by the Apartment Association of Metro Denver. So thank you to the AAMD. I am Karen Gladney.
And I am Ian Andrews, and today we're super excited to put together a mashup of all our different podcasts. And as a lot of you know, the very last question that we ask somebody is, what is that advice that you would give somebody just starting out in the apartment industry? So we compiled all the answers from everyone across our first and second season, and excited for you guys to see the mashup of it all.
Enjoy.
Well, first of all, I have to say this is a great industry for people at all levels. I think that an individual can find success at so many different levels, whether I'm an entry-level groundskeeper trying to find an opportunity on the maintenance department, or I'm starting out as a leasing consultant. The sky is the limit as far as how far you can advance your career. And I just think that there are opportunities, there's stability and opportunity at all levels. And for me, that's what was important, a big contributing factor to why I chose to make my career in property management. And it's so rewarding, and I think individual performance will be rewarded, You hold yourself to a high standard, and I guarantee you will find success.
Consider being very fortunate that you're part of this industry, and take it seriously. It is a career. I think that let your work be your resume. Everybody probably has one of those, but I think your work is your resume. And what do you stand for? What is your personal brand? There's an old, when I said that, I thought about this old, very cliche statement that says, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. It's very cliche, I know, but I recognize that, being me, being creative, being honest, has never really kept me from getting what I've gotten. I learned that, down the road. I wish I'd learned it sooner, but what do you stand for at the end of the day? What is your personal brand, and how does that fit into, the puzzle of the other people on your team, right? Yeah. And so, it's pretty important, but man, work is serious business. It is, and you gotta love what you do.
Yeah, I would say be bold. And when I say be bold, that is, I have certainly been very fortunate in this industry to start over a whole new career, from the bottom all the way up. And, I would like to say it's a short period of time in 21 years, but it's been a great time. And I think a lot of that has been because I have felt comfortable to step up and share ideas that, have inspired my stakeholders at that time. And wow, that's a great idea. Let's try that. Let's do that. And I think if you come in passive, you'll stay pigeonholed. Mm-hmm. They roll, but I think this is an industry that is thirsty for ideas, and they really want ideas. And this is just an industry that you can grow in any segment very, very. Yeah. But be bold, and I think we're at an intersection with our industry in this pivot with COVID that companies are looking for bold thoughts and really helping to reimagine those next generation experiences, much along, the lines of what we've had an opportunity to talk about today. So I just encourage, people to be inspired and really know that we're at a evolution/revolution from, the Barney, Flintstones sort of revolution to now taking things to sort of the modern, appointments of things. So bold. Don't be afraid to inspire others with your thoughts and just really thinking about how we can make this industry more innovative and less friction.
Just say yes to opportunity. The other advice I would give is, and I wrote this down, I'm very proud of it, performance does not equal advancement. Mm-hmm. Just because you do a good job, that doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. You have to have performance with initiative and assertiveness. You have to make it known that you want to be promoted. You have to make it known what you want to do. And do it on a regular basis. You have to ask, what do I need to do? What's missing right now? What do I need to do to get to this next level? and just get in people's faces. Works every time. Don't sit there. You're not entitled to anything. And the person who goes and asks for it is probably who's going to get it.
Welcome to your beautiful new apartment home here at Gables Point 14. As you can see, we're featuring this beautiful one-bedroom den.
You know, as I thought about this question, what I would say is that when you come into this industry, that you need to be prepared that this is not a job. This is not a job. This is a unique role that you play in people's lives, and you are a part of their decision to move. You're a part of their home. You see them on a regular basis, but also you're a part of a team. So this industry, you're going to have so many experiences, and it's more than a job. So expect every day to be different, and that's why I loved it from the get-go. Right? Every day is different. Creativity is a must. So even though we have those standard questions, you always have to think outside the box. You have to be a creative, a problem solver. It's everything in one. So as far as welcome, if there's anyone watching it that's new, because you're in for a ride and the sky's the limit in our industry, you guys. You start on site and sales, learn everything you can. It will be an amazing journey. When you understand the framework of what multifamily has to offer, not just to residents, but to you as a professional, it really is incredible. And I tell people who interview with me, if they've never thought about it, watch out, because you'll be working in the second in property management, because it's one of the best. It's one of the hidden gems, I think, for careers. People don't even realize it's here.
I think the best advice that I could give is just, for lack of better words, be a sponge, like really soak up the knowledge of the industry and how the tenure that most companies have, but also don't be afraid to speak up and say what your ideas are, because we've had people come on board and had an idea and they just didn't think it was great. And it ended up being our company, tagline or something. And so, definitely be open to, listening, but definitely, we want to make sure people talk out too and give us all their ideas, because usually those are the fresh ideas that we're looking for. Because, again, we've all been in the industry a while. So
I would say when looking for a job, it's important to find a company that aligns culturally with what you're looking for. And so a company that meets your needs. So you might have to do a little research on the culture and what that looks like. You can look at some of the awards that are out there in Colorado. The Denver Post has a Best Places to Work award. There's a fairly newer award that's across the USA that if you have more than properties in more than one metro area. And so researching the companies, finding out about the culture, looking at their mission on their website to see if it aligns with what you are looking at, setting up job alerts when you find companies where you're like, oh, that's them, I want to work for them. And then from there, LinkedIn is a great resource. I have people reach out to me on LinkedIn all the time saying, hey, what do you think of Griffiths? What do you have any open positions? Here's my background. I love that. I love helping new talent find what's best for them. And then once someone gets started, and then there's internships as well. If you're brand new to the industry, a lot of companies have internships, including Griffiths Residential, where you can get a foot in the door that sometimes leads to a longer full-time position. From a leasing standpoint, when you get started, or anywhere in multifamily, anywhere that you've started, whether it's AP or the investment side or finance, when you get in the door, you will have some level of training. And I would just encourage everyone to take that level of training one step further. Ask the right questions, get involved, make yourself successful. Meet with, if you're on site, meet with your service managers. Don't ask for permission to hang out with your new coworkers to get to know them and what they do and how they do business and how you're going to work together as a team. And so everyone gets a different level of training and shadowing, but I would encourage everyone that gets a new position to just step out there and make things happen for yourself.
Brace for impact. No, I'm just kidding. I think, my advice is pretty simple. I think it's be ready for anything, because 9 times out of 10, your day will throw you a curveball. It's what keeps our job interesting. We deal with so many different things, from customers to technology to financials to floods to fires, that you rarely have 2 days that are the same. That's why I love getting out on site as much as possible. It's the wheels of the car, and you have to keep them filled up to keep the rest of the machine moving.
I would say a couple of things. Number one is really get connected to your local, chapters of your apartment associations, and or like IREM. I do a lot with IREM. I think that they're a great organization for certifications. NAA has some great certifications as well. I think that, at RPM, we actually have a value called continuous improvement. And of course, I'm the L&D guy, so it feels like a shameless plug. But like I said, I'm reading a book every week. I'm trying to model what learning looks like. Right. I think that we need to, again, in an industry that can seem at times to be static if you let it, right? You can take control of that by learning more from your local organizations. I think the second thing is to, like I said before, is to kind of look outside. If you're in that leasing role, what makes good sales no matter where you are, right? So, what was your experience at Nordstrom's? What was your experience at, the Kroger, the grocery store? What made it a good experience? I think that you need to start kind of thinking about that. And then how do you kind of bring those ideas into what you're doing? So I think that, again, it's all mindset, right? So you could think that this is a very static, a very repetitive kind of industry, or you could say, gosh, there are so many opportunities that I can bring to make these experiences great for our prospects and our residents. And that's really what I want to see. I want to see, I'm going to date myself, right? I grew up watching Three's Company and The Ropers, right? And, being an apartment manager seemed like it was like kind of like schmarmy or something like that. And I want to see us elevate this industry beyond anything ever, right? To me, like when I think, I hear, and I've even taught this, right? When you think of customer service, what do you think of? Well, Southwest Airlines, Nordstrom's, right? That's who we think about. Why can't it be RPM? Why can't it be Greystar? Why can't it be, another one, right?
Yes.
So I'm drawing a blank. Right. But why can't it be Pinnacle or Lincoln or anybody, right? It could be any one of us that is that beacon for customer service. So I just want to challenge everyone out there. Let it be you. Let it be me. Let it be all of us in the industry to be those great customer servants for everybody out there.
Run! You will never get out. I've tried many times. No, I love my job. And I think you guys talked about it before, which is there's so many different things you can do in this industry. You can be an analyst. You can be an asset manager. Don't talk to me about boilers. I don't know how they work. I don't need to know how they work. There's somebody else out there that understands that knows what they're doing. So I think what I would say is be who you are and utilize your skill sets. Take the time and effort to improve what you're good at, rather than always trying to overcome what is not your strength. I'm not saying you don't. I still had to learn to put a file together to get my commissions paid, but at the end of the day, that wasn't my skill set. Surround yourself by people that have different skill sets, so that way you become a whole team, and never hesitate to work outside of your role. Honestly, I hate job descriptions. At the end of the day, I feel like you need to do what you need to do to run the business. Like, why do I need to put it down on a piece of paper? So work outside of your job description, help other people be successful in their role, and you'll be successful no matter what you do. So that would be my advice.
I routinely give 2 pieces of advice. The first one is you can't fight crazy. Crazy always wins.
That's a new one.
But it's the truth. I mean, there's some days where I'm like, I appreciate it. Is this the hill you want to die on? Like, we are not winning this battle here. Like, let's just give in and move on. So that's my first piece of advice, is just kind of know when to fold it and kind of walk away.
Are you gonna start singing?
And the dog will start howling.
Right.
Bad. And the second piece of advice is, and this comes from my personal experience, everything that I've learned in this industry, I always learned doing the challenges. So the properties that were like pretty and ran really well, although they were fun to work on, that's not actually where I learned how to do my job. It was always, throughout my career, I've always tried to hold up my hand to take on, like I will take on that challenging asset. And that's where I really learned everything about how to do my job. So I think probably my biggest piece of advice is don't be afraid to take on the challenge, because that's where your real growth comes. And those are the lasting lessons that will stay with you throughout your entire life, are the lessons that you learned on the hard stuff and working with the more difficult, associates, whether it be your boss or on-site associate. If you can learn how to navigate that, you'll learn so much about you, and everybody will grow from the situation.
I think it's like anything that you do in life, you get out of it what you give. And I think that's, again, with anything you do. But I would say, what an amazing industry to be in. There's so much growth. You get to do so much. There's so much opportunity. If you love the industry, stay in it, because you are making a difference and changing lives daily. I think invest in yourself, like make sure you know what is going on in the industry, in the world, know your community, know your residents. Oh gosh, there's so much.
I am where I am because of mentors. So mentors like you, Karen, Kimberly Schreiber, who introduced us and is now the president. She's given me several opportunities over the years, and she knows, because I will work myself into the ground. I don't mind working 20 hours a day if that's what it takes to get the job done. And because we're friends and she's a mentor, she knows, I'm going to be there for her. I've got her back 100%. Same with you. If I needed something, I feel like if I called you up and we haven't seen each other in 2 years and said, I need you, you would be here for me. You get on a plane and jump out, and I hope you feel the same about me. And that's what I would recommend to anybody starting out any career, in this industry or anything else, is really find some mentors. When you find somebody you click with, be good to them and stick with them, and just take care of that, because that's those relationships are going to carry you through a career no matter what you do.
This industry is not for everybody, no question. But it's an amazing industry if you want to jump in there and do it. And I always tell people, try to get on a really good team or have a mentor. Surround yourself with people that know what they're doing, so you can watch what they're doing, learn all you can. Get back to the basics of reading about your industry, going to seminars, now it's YouTube, now anything you can do to kind of keep on going. And I always tell people to be the first one there, the last one out, do whatever it takes. And it's amazing where they can lead. And go ahead and make a plan for where you want to go, but be flexible because usually you won't end up there. But just get it going and put it together, and I think and make it fun.
I have two.
Oh,
yes. First one is be prepared to wear many hats. When I was on site, I was a leasing agent one day, I was a manager the next. I'm also a therapist, a friend, whatever the resident needs. At the end of the day, they've lived there and they chose to live there and to provide the best customer service. Sometimes you have to wear a lot of hats. The next is this industry is growing. It's changing every day. So be adaptable to change and be open to it. I promise you, it is a fun ride. This industry has been amazing to work for. And if you're adaptable to change, you'll do just fine.